Okay, today I explain you the various pressure gauges which are connected to different positions on the steam plant. Let's start with the most simple one. This is the pressure gauge which is connected directly to the boiler and measures the steam pressure which is generated directly in the boiler during heating. Normally you run the machine between 50 and 75 psi, and in case you reach a higher pressure up to 100, then there's a safety system linked to it, these safety valves, and they open at 100. I have two of them, so in double, and if they open, the excess pressure is released into the chimney. So this is a pressure gauges of the boiler. We have a second pressure gauge which is shown here. This is connected to the water feeding. So it is the water feeding system is coming from a Stuart 5A. There's a linked water pump to it. It is fed by the hot well reservoir, the water reservoir. It sucks the water, and if it's in cross circuit position, it pumps the water back into the hot well. Or if you open this valve at this position here, then the water goes through the condenser, and there is a preheating coil tube in it, and then after the preheating by the condensed water, which is also in this reservoir, the preheated water is going through tubing here into the boiler at this position. During this process, the pressure is measured with this pressure gauge, and at full feeding, water feeding into the boiler via the Stuart 5A, you reach a pressure up to the pressure which is at the same time generated by the boiling water. So if, for instance, you have in the boiler 75 psi, you will measure on this pressure gauge for water feeding, you will measure also a pressure of 75 psi in maximum, because this is the back pressure from the boiler during full water feeding. And now we have a third pressure gauge, this small one here, and this was the most complicated. This was an idea I had, and I thought if you use a condenser tank, a water tank, and link this pressure gauge to the condenser, you could read from the distance if the condenser tank is full. Why is this? As more water is condensated in the tank and is stored, so as the more the condenser fills up with water, the higher the back pressure will be. And this is indeed what you can read from the distance. As soon as the condenser is getting full, you measure at this position a higher back pressure. It goes up even to 30 psi, and if the condenser is full. So sitting on the seat, from the distance you see, oh, the condenser is full, I have to go and empty it. And how is it emptied? You go there to this small valve here, open it, and then by the pressure of the generated by the steam in the exhaust pipe, this water and the oil mix, the condensate is pressed out, is going into this oil filter. Then the oil is separated by special oil binding fabric, and the excess of water, which is then delivered here through this pipe back into the hot well. So you have a fully recycling process of condensed water. Oil is separated and the rest of the condensed water is sent back or into the hot well. So this is explanation how I linked the various resources and could measure on the various pathways the pressure at different positions by 3 different pressure gauges. Thank you for your attention.